Mike, good morning. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you. It is good to be here. We're now all, recovered from staying up late on Sunday night to watch the Oscars, which I'm sure all of our listeners did.
Well, Anthony did, so we've got that going for us. And at least it was, my understanding, it was over by 11 o'clock, so at least it had that going for us. And you like what Sean Baker,
He won.
Honora guy, won, what he had to say about going to the theater.
That, to me, that was the high point of the show. I mean, I really liked his comments about that and getting behind it. And it's odd that he would say that in that Honora, his movie that won the the Best Picture, I think has been seen by virtually no one in theaters. It has not been a big hit. Maybe they'll bring it back now, but it's been streaming on so many places that I doubt it'd get a lot of people back into the theaters. And it is not a particular kind of movie that you really need to see on the big screen to appreciate it fully. Unlike Conclave, my favorite of last year, and I say that because in kind of a pre-Oscar thing, I showed Conclave at my community center on Sunday afternoon, and to see it again up on a big screen, well, a big wall in this case, it really just you could see everything that movie was doing, how it was building suspense, the very careful way it used sound and the textures and the colors, everything else. Not look for the the big special effects like you get in a Marvel movie, but just this is what the movies can do. The big screen, the communal experience of having a big crowd there, and surprisingly, since Conclave has been out for so long, most of the people in my audience had not seen it, were really surprised by it, got into the story. I mean, it did all the things that you really want a good theatrical experience to be. And I was really just heartened by that, to know that it's still available, even if this was just something that we'd done on our own, not out in a real theater.
And now also, Gene Hackman passed away last week just before the Oscars, nominated 5 times and won 2. What were a couple of his favorite roles for you?
Okay, there were so many. I mean, the guy had been, was so prolific in that he was just, on screen so often in his long career. The first thing that I saw him in, I guess most people did, was Bonnie and Clyde, which is his first Oscar nomination, and he just, stole that. And of course, French Connection, you've got to, see
so good.
him again in that. He is so good. He just really just owns that movie, and it's a performance for the ages. And then his other Oscars for Unforgiven, the Clint Eastwood movie, and again, he's just terrific in that. But I've got 2 other of his movies that I want to recommend to our listeners, and I don't think you saw them mentioned in any of the
Nope.
long obituaries for him. These are 2 that aren't as well known, but I think are really, really worthwhile, and both are very entertaining movies. They're not movies that are good for you in any way. They're just really entertaining.
All right, well, let's start with the package. I've got a little bit of the trailer from that one, and also the second one here in just a moment. And here we go. And once again, kids, trailers were different a long time ago.
It began in Berlin, a routine assignment for Sergeant John Gallagher.
There you go, Sergeant. He's all yours.
Yeah. You go to that court-martial, you better get those ribbons on your chest.
Be all you can be.
I think you're going to prison, Walter.
You don't know where I'm going.
Well, that last part certainly was true.
Yes, indeed. This is the package from 1989. It's a thriller, like the trailer said. It starts in Germany, then moves to Chicago in the Midwest. And that's where most of it's set. And it's just this, it's a suspense film. You're not sure what's going on all the way through it. Hackman is the lead, and this is normally the kind of movie that would have, somebody more conventionally handsome than Hackman. But because he's just playing a soldier, he really just makes it work so much better. He's the kind of character you can identify with, I think, a lot more easily than one of the conventionally handsome guys. It's a tricky story. It is was done very much on location, so it's got a good look, kind of grainy look to it that I really like. The story, in some ways, it doesn't hold up as well, but that doesn't matter because Hackman is so good in it. And the same thing goes with the next one we're going to talk about here. This is a movie called Twilight, and let's hear a little bit of it.
Harry? Honestly, Harry, did you see me in The Last Rebel?
Yeah?
Then I think you've seen everything there is of me to see.
In a place where the sun can blind you.
Harry, my wife is never going to sleep with you anyway. You might as well come up here and play cards.
In a city where the night can seduce you.
I want you to run an errand for me. Told you I don't do detective work anymore.
All right, there we go, Mike.
There was those voices, if you could recognize them all from that. This movie, Gene Hackman is not the star in it, but he is a very important supporting character in it. Paul Newman is the star, and James Garner is also a star, and so is Susan Sarandon. And if you get those four together, it is just that's the kind of casting you dream about. And the story itself, again, it's very surprising. The ending, when I saw it again, I had forgotten the ending and was surprised by it all over again. This also has a very revealing turn, one might say, of a young Reese Witherspoon and Liev Schreiber, too. It is a detective movie, but it's one of these movies that just kind of takes its time, doesn't really rush anything, not at all a conventional detective movie, but it is, like I say, for the cast, if nothing else, you should watch this. And it's pretty, I think it is on most of the streaming services now, but I haven't checked that, so I'm not sure. I've got a DVD of it, and that's what I took a look at to kind of get to remember how good Hackman was in it.
Let's talk a little bit more about him. And my first question: better car chase, French Connection or Bullet?
I would go with Bullet simply because the San Francisco locations are so much a part of that. It is, I think, a bit more integral to the plot of the movie than the chase, in New York in French Connection. That's. I say that now, but if I watched them the two scenes again, I would probably change my mind. This is one of those things where you wouldn't want to try to make a living on the difference between the two of them.
No, it's a fair point. And since I've seen the French Connection more recently, I haven't gone back and watched it. I just love that Under the L.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that is my favorite of the two of them. And then also, what did you think of him as Lex Luthor in Superman? Which to me, not a great movie, but he, along with Ned Beatty, were an awful lot of fun.
Oh, they sure are. They are just so terrific together, and they add such a goofy quality to that movie that it really needs. And Valerie Perrine as their secretary is every bit as good too. Now that's one I haven't seen in a very long time, and I should take a look at it again because, as I remember, that was one of the ones that really kind of established, this guy is such a good actor that he can take a big budget movie like this and kind of bring it over the finish line, as it were, because nobody knew who Christopher Reeve was this time. He was probably about the biggest name in the whole movie, and the whole movie just would not work if he wasn't so good in it.
No, I have to agree. He really did have sort of the range to play just about any kind of character. And I wonder too, you mentioned not conventionally handsome. I don't know that you need the conventionally word in there, but I wonder if that helped him as an actor.
I think so, because he made it work. He was. They often say that somebody is, a big star is really a character actor, and that's meant as a compliment. And Gene Hackman really was a character actor. And the one other thing I want to be sure to mention, because the clip has been going around a lot, is his brief and uncredited scene in Young Frankenstein as the hermit. Take another look at that. It's a short scene, only a few minutes long in the movie, with him and Peter Boyle as the monster, and it is so funny. You will be laughing all over the place. I promise you, because it is just and he has Hackman has all the lines, of course, in it, and he just nails that scene. I have read that when he learned that Mel Brooks was making the movie, he asked if there was anything he could do in it, because he liked the idea of something like that, and they kind of made that scene for him.
Yeah, well, here's a little bit of it for people here. Let's play a little bit of it.
Do you have your cigar? Let me see. Let me see. All right. Now, don't inhale until the tip glows. Wait! Where are you going? I was going to make espresso.
I mean, it must have been fun to be Peter Boyle in that movie, I would think.
I know.
Between that and putting on the Ritz, he must have had a really good time there. But yeah, a little bit of Gene Hackman there as the monk in Young Frankenstein. All right, we will.
If any of our listeners didn't understand that, find the clip somewhere, and you will, because you kind of missed part of the joke there just with the sound. But it is really funny.
It is a very good scene. It and it is kind of that non sequitur quality. To the rest, the rest of the movie, it does have, like you were just saying, that sort of, hey, let's write a scene for Gene Hackman, kind of feel to it. But hey, it's Young Frankenstein. You can get away with that kind of stuff in a movie like that. So, all right, well, Mike, thank you very much, and we will talk again next week.
Take care, guys.